Okay, so I've got a few housekeeping things before we get started today. The first is that I ended the last day not being sure of how resting worked, leaving the Northern Outpost by camping. But it turns out that during the camping, you determine where you're going to go, and then you record that in the campaign log, and then the next day, that's where you start. So today, we're going to be starting in the Golden Shore. And I decided that before I kind of read ahead and looked at the rest of the setup. But I started recording and then realized it was a little complicated. So I've went through and I've gone and made sure I did this in the right order. When you go to set up your weather, that's when you read the entry for the start of the day, because that's where that information is contained on your campaign log. Right here, it tells me that I'm in a downpour and that I got to go read 1.04. But 1.04 is going to be doing something that impacts the start of the day quite a bit. So we got to read that before we technically do the rest of setup. So let's get straight into that. You wake up in the morning to a dark sky thick with clouds. Rain is falling on the head of the valley in thick sheets, and the creek near your camp has spilled over its banks. Before you finish packing, a familiar figure approaches your camp. It's Cal Ivor. "Make haste," he calls. "Areas southeast of Lone Tree are flooding. It was that ridiculous Shaper. Came to water the hanging gardens and instead created an entire storm front. Elder Thrush is sending teams across the upper valley for rescue and relief efforts. You must go to White Sky, Kobo's Market, and to the Golden Shore, if you can get there in time. Make sure everyone is safe, then provide whatever aid you can. This could have been avoided," Cal says, mostly to himself. He looks down the trail in the direction of Lone Tree, then back to you. "I would accompany you, but Calypso and I have been tasked with finding Aell. Maybe he can fix the mess that he's created and put a stop to the rain. You're on your own. Good luck. You're gonna need it." As if on cue, a peal of thunder rattles the air. Gain the Rising Waters mission. You will have to move fast to beat the waters. Record 94.2 2 days from now, day 6, on the campaign tracker. At the start of that day, read that journal entry. So our new story mission is here, and it's Rising Waters. Torrential rains are causing floods, and it applies in White Sky, Kobo's Market, and the Golden Shore, which you'll remember is where we're starting the day. We use 1.05 instead of the normal entries for these locations. When a card with a flood attached is cleared, place 1 progress on this mission and shuffle the flood into the path deck. And you need to have 3 progress on this mission to read 1.07. And then it has the challenge effect of adding 1 token to the weather. So presumably, we're going to need to be clearing flood out of locations to put progress on this and get to read 1.07 in the next 2 days, which is going to be pretty tricky. And so now, if we're following the setup guide, that was us setting up the weather card. Now we have to set up our missions, at which point all those enter play. Then we build and shuffle the path deck, which I've already done ahead of time with the 3 random valley cards for not being a pivotal location. We resolve arrival setup, which again is going to be changed to this 1.05, and then we do our start of day effects. But the one thing I haven't done is drawn my opening hand, so let's do that too. Oh, wow. That's a really nice opening hand. So it's important to note that the Golden Shore is a trail where Strider's not that useless. That being said, I think that I'm okay with getting these replaced for something else, because these are amazing setup for a setup turn. And having pads we roam before at the very start of the game is just super good. A Determined, a Walk with Me, and a Leaf in the Breeze. This is a pretty good opening hand, for sure. Absolutely a good opening hand. We'll shuffle those back in for our mulligan, and then we'll get started on the rest of the day's actual proper setup that we normally do at the start. So remember that we've arrived here by the forest. So this is going to be a forest path deck with the Golden Shore General Valley, 3 General Valley cards shuffled in, and we got to read 1.05 for Golden Shore instead of 12. Tributary streams north of the shoreline have begun to spill their banks, becoming a boiling sluice of brown water among the pines. Though if water isn't redirected, it could wash out long stretches of the shoreline and carry away dozens or even hundreds of trees. Divert the flood by clearing beings and features while they have a flood card attached. After setup, perform the following based on how many days have passed since starting this mission. Search the general set for 2 flood cards and shuffle them into the path deck, if there's been 0 days since it started, or search the general set for 2 flood cards and shuffle 1 into the path deck, then attach the other flood card to the being or feature in play with the highest presence. So I've got these 2 flood cards here from the general set. They have a water, they're an attachment and have water, and they have 1 presence. They have response. When this card enters play or it's attached, a card leaves play, attach it to the feature or being with the highest presence that doesn't already have a flood attached. Move that card along the way. If there are no cards to attach to, you read 1.06. And you add flood tokens to the attached card as you draw your suns. And if the number of flood tokens on the attached card is greater than its presence, discard it, and each ranger suffers 3 fatigue. So we're going to be having a serious flood on our hands with these bad boys, and we've got to get these. We basically have to clear everything in play in order for these to not just attach to something else, which is going to be tricky. That sounds pretty rough. All right, so there's our start of the day. The lead ranger draws 1 path card, which we get as a Caustic Mulcher. Oh my god, I can't believe we keep getting this as our first thing. That is so painful. And we're here at the Golden Shore, which is currently flooding, obviously. And then we also draw 1 path card at the top of the round, which is a Sitka Buck, which is a bit less painful than the Caustic Mulcher. Okay, I just took a reread of what this is wanting and what the card says, and I think I was mistaken. I don't need to clear everything. I just need to clear cards that have flood attached. So I need to find things that are flooded and clear 3 of them. And once a flood comes out, then it just moves to everything. So again, it's still really unfortunate this Caustic Mulcher got put into play because he's going to take a long time for me to deal with. That being said, I feel like I have an interesting turn right now. I just don't know if it's like a really good one. But what I'm thinking is that I might be using my Undaunted Seeker to dodge the Caustic Mulcher and try and get a lot of progress on the Golden Shore, so that if I get my 3-cost fitness moment that deals damage equal to the number of tokens on a trail getting moved as injuries. I don't remember the name of it. It's what is it? Follow in Footsteps, maybe. That would be a really good way to get a lot of injuries on the Caustic Mulcher to clear it without needing to put 9 progress on it, and without needing to like avoid it every turn. The Sitka Buck, on the other hand, is a good way for this sun to just not hit me right away. So I think what I'm going to be doing straight off the bat is playing 1 just to get my Ironwool boots into play. And I'm just going to shove everything over a little bit just to try and minimize on my glare. As always, the glare is kind of an issue that I don't know how to fix, so we're just dealing with it. And I think that puts me straight away into trying to traverse there. So I'm going to put 1 fitness into this to start the test. And I'm going to be using Undaunted Seeker to dodge the Mulcher. I'm going to take 1 fatigue from the Buck being in along the route to where I'm attempting to go, and I'm going to put a Determined into this test to be 3 against 1 effort. Sorry, 3 effort against 1 presence on the location. We get a +1, which is really nice. We get to place 4 effort on that, and oh yeah, no, that's super good. Another reason that's super good is I can even, for 1, play this Walk with Me and put 4 progress on this Caustic Mulcher. And I guess maybe I'm thinking about something else, right? After I succeeded to traverse, I can add progress to a being equal to my effort. Well, now I'm half the way up getting this Mulcher dealt with. And also, after I've played a moment, I get to soothe this fatigue, which is a Strider. So if I get paths that we've roamed before to get this Walk with Me back in hand, that's starting to look really nice. Because I can commit the Strider into another test, place a ton of progress, and get him dealt with. I'd almost like to get him, I'd almost like him to get a flood on him so that I can clear him. But we still have to go through with the challenge effects. So we do lose 1 rain token from this, and we each suffer fatigue. And then if there's another active being, you exhaust it and move it to the biomeld. Attach it to the biomeld. So presumably he's like eating it now, right? So that's the first little bit of the turn. There's definitely a question on whether I play Paths We've Roamed Before to get these back in my fatigue pile and get 1 right to hand. It's a little bit wasteful, but also it's kind of not that bad. Because I might be able to clear him like this turn, right? If I Paths We've Roamed Before to add these back in, get the Walk Me back to hand, and use the rest of my stuff doing another Strider test up here. Oof, that's tricky. I really don't want to get my Ranger token attached up here, that would be really nasty. That would be really nasty. Really, really nasty. So I kind of feel like there's not much else to do this turn. I could play the paths we've roamed before. It would get me something in my hand, but I don't know that that's particularly good, and I feel like I'd rather maximize the value I get from this. I could try a Remember to see if I can get a little progress through my deck, but I'm a little worried about that sun icon, right? Like that's nasty. But to be honest, a little bit of extra fatigue and another card draw, it goes a long way. So I'm just going to try to do my basic Remember Your Training test, which is focus plus reason. I'll have 1 focus against a 1 difficulty. If I fail it, then whatever. I don't fail it, so I get to look at the top card of the deck, and that's an Eagle Eye, so I want that in hand, absolutely. So I draw that, but unfortunately I do get the Sun token, which is a pretty big bummer. So this is going to go down to 2 rain, and we're going to get another fatigue. And then if there's another active being, or if there's another active being exhausted and attached to this biomeld, if not, move your ranger to this biomeld. So I'm attached to him now, and when I pull crests, I'm going to be suffering injuries, which is not what I was hoping to see, but it is what it is. So I'm going to need all of my fitness and as much challenge effect as I can muster to unattach myself from here. And it's a fitness against a difficulty of 2 plus challenge, but unfortunately my only challenge right now is Pakodo, and that's not really what I'm looking to do. I could get Pakodo into play so that I could use that as like another diversion of things to get attached, but I don't think that's particularly helpful. I suppose I could play the Eagle Eye this turn, and that's probably a good idea. I'll end this turn off by playing the Eagle Eye, scouting 3 cards from the Path deck and drawing 1 of them. 2 Sitka Bucks, Ben Amon, the Swift Pilot. Okay. Interesting. I don't know that I necessarily want him right now. I feel like a buck is a little bit... I mean, that's better than a wolfhound. I don't want him in play because... Oh, the Caustic Mulcher's not a... It's not a predator, so like it doesn't just kill him really fast. But clearing him is very difficult otherwise. I have to pass this focus and heart. I'd almost like him to be on the bottom of the deck, I think. I don't think I want him around. And I don't mind drawing another Sitka Buck. That's not a big deal. I'm actually going to draw the Sitka Buck, put the other Sitka Buck on the bottom with Ben here. And that'll be the Eagle Eye play. And then we will just end that round. So I'll get all my energy back. We're not traveling anywhere. Oh, right, and the Eagle Eye, and I've played it, I do get to heal a fatigue. So I still had a fitness left. I'm actually just going to take that back for a moment, and then I'll end the day. So that should be helpful to make sure that everything I need to happen this round happens. So that's my upkeep. Did I draw a card? No, I took the fatigue from the Iron Will Bolt. So I draw a card. It's my other walk with me. I don't even have to play the paths we've run before. That is so nice. These guys are now ready, and we get a new path card, which is an Overgrown Thicket, which is an obstacle. And that's a bummer because I would have to dodge this to get past the Mulcher now. Ouch. That's a bummer. Okay, it's not insurmountable, though. Not insurmountable by any means. Yeah, no, I think that this is actually just fine. So, you can't travel, and your ranger icon can't be moved except by this test. But if I clear him, then it will clear, right? I think that's fine. If I clear him, then this will just go back to me. I think that's okay. And the reason I'm looking at this is because what I'm thinking is, if I play Leaf and a Breeze to dodge 3 cards, and exhaust myself to dodge a 4th card, presumably I need to dodge this, and this to be able to travel to here, I should be okay. So I'm going to traverse to the Golden Shore. I'm going to use... This is all I'm doing this turn, I think. I'm just going to dump my whole 6 effort into this. I've played this to, when you traverse, dodge up to 3 cards. So that heals fatigue from my iron wool boots. Soothe the fatigue, excuse me. So I'm going to have 6 effort against 1. That's going to be placing 5 on a -1. And that would be enough to clear the mulcher. If I get the -2, it's not going to clear them, but I think I kind of have to live with that. I really don't want to put too much into this one test. -1. Okay, perfect. Fine, right? It's fine. We're good. We're fine. So we place our 5 progress up here, which puts us up to 9 total, which is like absolutely absurd. But that's what it is. And then we play 1 spirit for a walk with me. And after you succeed at a traverse test, you add an equal amount of progress to a being. There's our 9 total, right? There, 9 total. So we're going to clear the mulcher. I genuinely have no idea what happens with this Sitka buck. He got moved, like he got attached to the mulcher, which is along the way. And presumably that moved him to here. I can only assume that's what that does, right? If you unattach a being, place it in the same area as this biomeld, I feel like that's got to be true for when he's like, you know, cleared as well. I don't know for sure, but that's my best guess. So that's that. And I kind of ridiculously didn't really leave myself any more to do this turn. I don't have enough to play Pakoto or my Paths We've Roamed, but I certainly have a lot to roam back. So this looks like a pretty nice little arrangement right here, as does this, as does just 2 Walk With Me's. But I really would like to see that Follow in Footsteps or whatever to turn my 3 Fit into clearing enemies or clearing beings from play. So I think that's it. Is there anything really nasty that can happen to me if I just try to do another card draw? I can suffer a fatigue, and I can suffer a fatigue. I think that's fine. We're going to try that again. We get the +1, so we get to look at 2 cards. Breathe into it and Iron Wool Boots. I don't care for either of those. No, those are fine. Those can go on the very bottom of the deck, and I'll just draw the next card. Another Breathe into it. I did not do a very good shuffle, I suppose. That's fine. And then the crest effects. There's no active crest effects, so none of that matters. And then I'll just end the turn. So I gain all my energy back. I unexhaust myself. I draw a card from my deck. Artel's Vaulting Rod, which I included after the last day there. After camping, I did decide to put this in, and I did put it in place, or I put it into the deck in place of my my focus attribute. I do not remember the name of it, but let's see. Versatile. I figured, you know, when I'm looking at the icons, I would take a fatigue to get any of these icons, and also this effect is just fine, and I'm kind of okay on my connects, I think. So long as I've got Pakoto in play and I can use these with my Paths We've Roamed and my Compassionate, I don't really need a whole lot more. So I was fine with getting the Artel's Vaulting Rod. That being said, in order to play this, I'm going to have to use up this boundary sensor. And that's going to take a while to get the kind of value back from. But this does exhaust obstacles, so it might be a way for me to place progress in other areas today if we can finish up the Golden Shore. So that was me drawing my card. A Prowling Wolfhound. Okay, I don't have any fatigue, so once again, doing tests is useful, but I think that this round is going to be all about a few things. First off, it's going to be about playing Pakoto. Pakoto needs to be in play. Second off, it's going to be about playing Paths We've Roamed before. Choose up to 4 total moments or attributes, put them back into your fatigue stack. I'm going to take an Eagle Eye for sure, because I need to find the Flood out of the deck. I'm going to take another Walk With Me, because I've got so many guys, and that's a really easy way for me to turn a successful traversal into a bunch of extra progress. And actually, I think I'm just going to do that. I've already got more than enough on the Golden Shore that Strider's not that useful, and I can interact with the guys in front of me first for this Leaf in the Breeze, so not a big deal. I think that I'm gonna put the Eagle Eye on top and get that one back with Iron Wool Boots, because for the next couple turns, I'm gonna be using my Spirit to get it onto Pakoto. And so I'd rather have this in hand because it's something to play with my awareness. Okay, so that's that. The next thing I think is going to be trying to clear this overgrown thicket. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to dodge the Prowling Wolfhound and just put all 3 into this. That's 1 fatigue from the Sitka Buck, but that's not that big of a deal. So long as I'm not losing all my trail mix, then that's not a big deal. And if I can play this Eagle Eye next turn, then I'm okay. We're in decent shape. So we're doing a 3 against 1. I need to place 2 on here. -1, so I do get to place 2. Super fortunate, and it's the mountain. So 2 goes onto there. That gets discarded and cleared. And then we're looking for mountain effects. Add 1 token to the weather. Ugh, yuck. Get out of here. Oh, I should have used my boundary sensor, I bet, to be a bit safer on that one. So if there's an active predator, exhaust it. Add 2 to it, and then add damage to this, or injury to this being equal to that predator's presence. Okay, fine. And then there's no more active predators because he's exhausted. So that's all right. I don't have anything else to do this turn. That's fine. We're okay there. I'm just going to end the turn again, or end the round again. Card drawn from the top of the deck, another Eagle Eye. Oh, sweet. Okay, so I'm going to be able to find my floods to start getting progress on this. He's readied, I'm readied. And then we get another path card, which is Calypsa, the Ranger Mentor, and she's 84. Did I say 84? 85. Enters play. Go to 85.1. You come across Calypsa in the middle of the field as she's teaching something to Cal Ivor. She waves you over. I've just been discussing some lessons with Cal, she says. Care to sit in? That's kind of a funny thing to have... It's a really weird thing to have, like, shown up, I guess. But that's fine. It doesn't quite match... It doesn't quite match what we've described here, but she is in the general set. I don't know if she was supposed to be taken out at some point, but... we do need to be a little careful about the Wolfhound and her both existing in play at the same time. So, I guess that leaves us where we were going to be, which is playing our Eagle Eyes. So I'm going to play 1 Eagle Eye, look at the top 3 cards of the path deck, and then scout the top 3 cards and draw 1. There's the Flood. There's Ura Voss, who I think we're also still going to keep out of play here. The Overgrown Thicket's really easy for me to... The Overgrown Thicket's really... I'm going to put Aura on the bottom. I don't think I have time for what she wants me to do. Much like I'm probably not going to have time to clear Calypsa intentionally. But we're going to put the Overgrown Thicket on top, and then we're instantly going to draw the Flood. Now this says, when this card enters play or its attached card leaves play, attach it to the feature or being with the highest presence that doesn't already have a Flood attached. So this Flood... I don't know if it having this along the way icon matters, but the highest are Calypsa and Prowling Wolfhound, so it's going on the Prowling Wolfhound. And then if there are no cards to attach to, you read 1.06. So, I don't know what Flood tokens do, other than discarding the card and we suffer a bunch of fatigue. Now, how much fatigue do we have right now? We have 4 fatigue. We just played this Eagle Eye. We get to soothe 1 from our Iron Wool Boots, which was our other determined. That's really nice. But we've got to get rid of this Howling Wolfhound now. And the best way for us to manage that is by committing to Pakoto with a big connect test, I think. I think that's really the best idea. So we're going to do a 2 against 1. I'm just going to commit this Breathe into it. I don't think I see myself wanting to make this fatigue stack go away right now. I think that's okay. I guess I'll suffer an injury if I pull the... Oh yeah, no, that's a little risky, isn't it? If I pull the injury, that's no fun. But I don't have enough to dodge him. So I might have to just run the odds on that. Yeah, I think I've just got to run the odds on that. So we'll be 3 against 1. I get a +1. Very nice. So 4 against 1 means that we get 4 progress instead of just the measly 3 or 2. And then we're looking for challenge effects. So another one goes up here, which I'll just do that. Whoops. And then if there's an active predator, exhaust it. Add 2 to it, which defeats it. And then add 2 to this being, equal to that predator's presence. So presumably they both defeat each other. And when they defeat each other, when a card with a flood attached is cleared, place 1 progress on this mission and shuffle the flood into the path deck. So they're both dealt with, and the flood goes back in. Now that overgrown thicket's gone now, which is, I guess, a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. But that's okay. All right, so we're 1/3 of the way done here up in the Golden Shore. That's really nice. I have no idea if I'm shuffling this too much or enough for how few cards it is. I guess the next thing to do is to play another Eagle Eye, right? We'll just play another Eagle Eye. We'll scout the top 3 cards and draw one and put the, figure out what we're doing with the rest of them. 2 Sunberry Brambles. I feel like getting one of these into play is actually fine right now. But maybe I just churn through for more chances at flood. Not sure. Amon's going on the bottom. 1's going on the bottom. No, I'm just gonna churn through it. We're churning through it. A Prowling Wolfhound. Annoying, but not too bad. And then when the Eagle Eye is done playing, I've played something, so my Iron Wool Boots gives me a Walk With Me back. Very nice. I'm gonna just rearrange these so that it's clear Calypsa is not messing with me here. I don't have any aid for Picoto to really make use of at the moment. I have all of this fitness and nothing to do with it. Maybe I should have put that Bramble into play. That probably would have been prudent now that I'm thinking about it a bit more. What I think I'll do is I'll put 2 on Calypsa so as to try to clear her a bit quickly if she's who I decide to put the flood token on when it shows up. And otherwise, maybe just end the round here. It's kind of a waste of all this fitness, but not sure what else to do with it. So we'll get Picoto's Readiness. We will draw a card at the end of the round. Another Boundary Sensor, which is really just a travel icon at the moment. This one's more than enough. And we'll get a new path card, which is a Flood. And that will attach to Calypsa. Very nice. Okay, super. So, I guess we'll just do the thing, right? We'll, yeah, no, that's super good. So we'll put 1 off of Picoto and ready him to put 2 progress tokens on Calypsa, which will clear her. When I clear her, I go back to read 85 again. When I clear her, if Helping Hand is attached to her, go to 85.2, which it isn't, or otherwise go to 85.3. Calypsa gestures to the field around you. As rangers, we have a responsibility to the valley. Not only our friends and neighbors, but the valley and every living being within it. Look around us, she says, and you dutifully study the meadow. The grasses, the bushes, the insects, the birds, the valley is full of life. When we move through it, we cannot help but affect it. She takes a few steps, then gestures behind her to the grass crushed beneath her boots. That is why we should think before we act. It can often be better to observe and otherwise avoid the living things in the valley. And when we can't observe, she reaches into her pocket and pulls out a small chunk of meat. She tosses it into the middle of a field, and you hear a screech. An eagle swoops down, pouncing on the morsel. Calypsa smiles. It can be better to distract. Exhaust 1 non-human being in play. Oh, that's really, really nice for the rest of the turn. Of course, Calypsa says, there are a lot of beings in this valley. Sometimes there are too many to avoid or even to distract. Sometimes you have to press on, even when it's dangerous or tiring. Exhaustion, fatigue, these can be worthwhile trade-offs for accomplishing important tasks. You will need to be willing to push yourself and tire yourself if you're going to get everything done in a day that you need to do. She looks at you and Cal. Perhaps a competition will teach you what I mean. Which of you can push yourselves more? Shall we find out? If you take on this challenge, it will discard your current fatigue stack. Interesting. So I can either agree to the test, or I can say not today and soothe to fatigue. I think I'm just going to say not for today and soothe to fatigue, and maybe we'll try this again another time. We might not get another shot at it, but it is what it is. I'm going to soothe these to fatigue. I really want to get this main quest kind of done. So Calypso is cleared. Thank you very much. We get to place a progress on the location, and the Flood gets shuffled back into the deck. I'd say that was a pretty good turn for only having done one thing, which is exhaust Pakoto. I suppose I could try to like connect with the buck, see if... Oh no. Well, yeah, no, I think connecting with the buck is all right. The only risk right now is putting more tokens on the weather and getting fatigued by the weather. And the only thing that I really need to be careful with that is... whoops, what am I doing? That's a silly spot to have put that, isn't it? The only thing I really need to be worried about with this is fatiguing my trail mix. Now, I am probably about halfway through my deck here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm more than halfway through my deck. So I do need to be mindful of that if I want to get a lot done for the rest of this day. That said, I guess I will just try to connect with the Sitka Buck. There's no harm in a failed connection, so we'll see what we can do on that. We're going to be 2 against 1. We get the 0, so we get to place 2 progress on the Sitka Buck. And we get our sun icons, which again is 1 fatigue for 1 rain. And no other active Sitka Bucks, so I don't do any dueling. Okay, so that's that. Man, I really, really want to get my other paths we've roamed so I can start cycling this, or my trail mix so I can be a bit less concerned about fatigue on a moment-to-moment basis. But I think the next big thing is just going to be trying to find more stuff. So we'll go ahead and we'll maybe exhaust this Sitka Buck. I do get a 0, which exhausts him. We get another sun, which fatigues us once again. Not a big deal. And then the deck shuffles here. Okay, so that's that. I don't really care to do much else this turn. I suppose I could just do a big travel here and with like my boundary sensor and all my fitness and see if I can't just get some free progress with a walk with me. Actually, I think that's a pretty good idea. I'm going to put 4 into traveling to the Golden Shore or traversing the Golden Shore. Everyone's exhausted, so we don't have to worry about any fatigue. And we'll even commit this boundary sensor to make it 5 to make sure that I can place an appropriate amount. Oh, we get a +1. Shit. Oh, I shouldn't have committed that now. Because we're just going to clear this Wolfhound. I think that's actually fine, though, right? Yeah, I'm happy clearing him. So I'm going to place, like, a bunch more. What is this? 2, 4, 6, right? We're really going overkill on this, but it's not a huge concern. We add 1 token to the weather, and then these guys don't care. And we will... Oh, what am I doing? I don't have any spirit to play that. Ridiculous. Whatever. Not a big deal. Well, yeah, that's me being silly. So we'll just end the round then. Don't need that much progress, but maybe if I pick up my 3 fitness event, it'll matter. So all of our energy's back. We've got a thorough. That's really nice for doing a dodge effect. An avoid effect, I should say. And we'll look at one more path card. It is an overgrown thicket. We're going to want to get rid of that eventually, but I suppose not quite yet. So I think that we're going to try to get some more happiness onto Pakoto here. And the reason we're doing this, I think, is to try and tease out another one of these mountain effects to exhaust the Prowling Wolfhound. Maybe I just dodge him, though. Yeah, no, you know what? I think I like that a little more. What we're going to do is we're going to use our 2 awareness and our thorough to try to evade him. We get a -1, so we do successfully exhaust him. This goes into our discard pile. Crest effects, no, no, no. So that's all fine. He's exhausted now, so what we can do is we can travel to the overgrown thicket, exhausting ourselves to walk past the Sitka Buck, and toss one of our boundary sensors into this to be a 4 against 1. I like that. A 0, so we do get to clear the overgrown thicket. And we get sun icons off of this. So again, sun icons is just 1 fatigue from up here. I'm getting a little worried about that. But we'll see what we can do. I suppose now I could play a walk with me because I placed 4, and I will. I'm going to play... So I think this would be before I did the challenge icons, now that I'm thinking about it. But I'm going to play a walk with me and return this top card to my hand. Okay, it's a Strider, that's fine. And then that'll put 4 progress on him so that if I need to with Pakodo, I can just clear him at will. And I'm hoping to get a Flood to be able to do that. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. Also, this is exhausted. And then last action that I might do this round is maybe try to interact with Pakodo for 1, see if it can do anything. A 0, cool. Oh, did I take that fatigue after I reversed it? I don't think so. So I get 1 on Pakodo, and then I take another fatigue from that. Ugh, the rain is really getting me down here. That's rough. Okay. That's the end of that round. I'm kind of blitzing through this pretty quick, but I would like very much to get this location dealt with. Because once we're done this location, we can hopefully get around really quick to White Sky and solve that too. So we get all of our energy back. We get 1 card from the deck. There's the Trail Mix. Love to see that. And 1 new path card. The Flood. Yes. That goes on the Wolfhound. That goes on the Wolfhound, and we use Pakodo to place 2 on him, and we clear him with the Flood on. Now the Flood is going to shuffle into the deck, presumably, and then when I have 3 on that mission, I get to read 1.07. With some quick thinking and a lot of backbreaking work, you manage to redirect the worst of the floodwaters and save what you can. Thanks to your effort, this location is through the worst of it. Check off the bubble matching your current location next to Rising Waters on the campaign tracker and remove all progress from its mission card. Then, if all 3 mission locations are complete, read the following. Okay, so we clear that off. We check off the Rising Waters for Golden Shore, which is this one. I guess we're just trying to get to the next location, aren't we? So, if we're just trying to get the hell out of Dodge, I guess I'm going to play 2 for my Trail Mix. I probably should have played this for my Trail Mix first and got a free morsel on it, which I guess I'll do. I'll play the Trail Mix first and then I'll use Pakodo that gets me morsel on it. And then I think it's just time to leave. I don't care to instantly return all this right now. We can do that after we've traveled to the next location. We're going to be real crunched when we get to White Sky, but hopefully we can get it, we can at least get there so that maybe we can do White Sky and, what's the other place? Kobo's Market, nice and quickly there. So, that's the end of the Ranger turn, and now we're going to travel. So we by far exceed this threshold, so we're definitely going to be traveling. Remove all path cards from the play area, choose a new location, and assemble the path deck. And right now we're at the Golden Shore. We got to get over to White Sky, so we're going to be going through Mount Nim to get there. Kobo's Market's all the way down here, so like we've got to get pretty far. But we're going to get set up with Mount Nim at a lakeshore. So there we've got our nice path deck with 3 random cards. Again, it's not a pivotal location. We're at Mount Nim here, which is a focused and traversal test to overlook 3, the surrounding valley. To choose a nearby location, attach 1 card from that location set face down to this location. After you travel, if you traveled to that location, put the attached card into play. Otherwise, return it to the collection. Wow, very interesting. That is super cool. But it's a 2 presence, and we need 4 to get out of here. So when we arrive, we do have to look at the back end, which is 13. Climbing the spurs of Mount Nim is tiring work. A brisk wind chills your skin. As you approach the summit, you look out and see almost the entirety of the valley stretching to the south. White Sky Lake glimmers below. Then, following the thread of the Silverfin River, you can spot the thin, gleaming spike of Spire in the distance. Beyond, you imagine that you can see the mouth of the valley where the ground drops away into the emerald expanse of the Verdessa below. So the arrival setup says the lead ranger draws 2 path cards, choose 1 to put in the play, and discard the other. If one of these cards has ambush, you must choose that card. Neither of these have ambush, and I would like very much not to put old bloody clicker into play. Yeah, fuck that. What the hell, man? That is like a bug from Starship Troopers. I don't know what disconnected does. I don't want to deal with that. We got to get the hell out of here, and Tidewater Muckets is the perfect thing to get us the hell out of here. Holy fuck. All right, and then the day ends. So we get our energy back. We draw one card. We ready Pakodo here, and then we draw a card from the top of the deck at the start of the round, which is Tala the Red, Exile, entry 84. You don't know everyone in the valley, but the moment you spot the woman walking towards you, you can tell she's not a local. It's not just the heavy furs and well-used ice axe hanging from her belt. The tightness around her eyes and mouth expresses discomfort with everything around her. You greet her and she stares at you warily. I'm Tala the Red, she finally replies reluctantly, formerly of the Ice Clans to the north. You clear Tala with progress to ask her about her exile. Yeah, no, we're just going to be leaving Tala behind. Sorry, Tala. That's the start of the day. Fortunately, we can just pretty much head right up to Mount Nim, which I would very much enjoy doing. So first things first, we are going to eat a trail mix, which is going to soothe this fatigue here, which is 3. And there's our paths we've roamed, and there's our Afforded by Nature. I could have used that earlier. So we've got the paths we've roamed before, and we're going to start working on this. So we'll just go ahead, play our paths we've roamed before for 2. Let's get back our other paths we've roamed. One of our eagle eyes, and let's say a leaf in the breeze in case like we get into a really nasty situation. I think I've already got a walk with me in hand, so that's not a big deal. And we're just straight up gonna put this paths we rode before in our hand with the Ironwool boots so that we can do that again next turn. Okay, so there's one paths we've roamed before played. We've already used our trail mix. We don't have anything inhibiting us from going straight to Mount Nim. So I think that means it's time to do that. Now, how much am I putting into this? Am I just putting in 4 and risking going again? I don't think so. I don't think I'm putting in 4 and risking going again. I think what I'm doing is putting in Pakodo to get to 5 and risking going again. If I pull a -2, but let's hope we don't. Okay, we get a +1. So we get to place like 6 progress on here. That's perfectly fine. This guy doesn't do anything, obviously. We do suffer 1 more fatigue from this, but if there's no rain, we flip this over into the Gathering Storm. And now when we refresh, we add 2 rain to the card. If there are 4 more rain tokens, a peal of thunder fills the air and heavy rain begins. Move all prey to along the way, then each ranger exhausts their roll. Flip this card. But you can take these focus and reason tests to shelter for 2, to discard rain from this card for every 2 effort. So presumably this is a nice thing for characters with high focus to do and high reason to do, but I don't have either of those. So we'll just sit here with our huge amount of fatigue and no ability to weather the storm. So that is enough to travel, and we're going to be doing that in a moment. But I think I would like to use this opportunity to also try to connect with Pakodo to get a little more progress on him. I think that might be a little risky, but we're going to go for it. 2 against 1. I got a +1. That's nice. So I get to place 3 on him. Okay, great. And a crest. So predators, no. Active predator, no. And then this reshuffles. And then we're going to get the hell out of Nim. Because we don't really need to be here, and I don't want to be here, and I don't have a lot of time to check out the floods in White Sky. So we're going to see what we can do about that as fast as we can. I am going to use Pakodo just to get an extra 8 on my trail mix and move 2 to this Tidewater Muckets, but we're just going to end the round here. So the round ends, the turn ends, I guess. The Ranger turn phase ends, and we're going to get straight to traveling. So we're going to clear Mount Nim, and we're going to continue along. So that clears all this. All these guys go away, and we've got to take a look at the map to see how we're getting there. So unfortunately, when we go from Mount Nim to White Sky, we do need to take the mountain deck, which is, I think, a little trickier than these 2 so far. We haven't seen a ton of the mountain deck, I don't think, or maybe we haven't seen it at all. Now that I think about it, I came to Aatrox from the Northern Outpost, so we haven't seen the mountain deck at all. I also crossed the lake from the White Sky boat lady. Vel? I don't remember what her name is. But we're going to have to go through the mountains to get to White Sky. So this will be some new ground covered. Okay, so we've got our White Sky, we've got our mountain, and we've got White Sky up here as well. So when we arrive at White Sky, we do not read 3 as usual, we read 1.05. The wind has been rising steadily and now is blowing the rain in huge sheets across the lake. Swelling tributary streams threaten to overtake the shoreline. Animals and villagers alike flee to safety lest they be caught in a flood. So after setup, perform the following based on how many days have passed since starting the mission. None. We search the general set for 2 flood cards and shuffle them into the path deck again. So there's my 2 flood cards, and I'll just do a quick shuffle on that. And then we'll have to end the round putting some weather tokens up there on Gathering Storm, which are unfortunately not really going to be something we can deal with. We'll go ahead and get everything readied up. We'll draw 1 card, which is a Leaf in the Breeze. We'll put 2 rain up here on the Gathering Storm. And if there are 4 or more rain to... Oh, I need to draw my path card. Right. A Pouncing Aatrox, which is Ambush. So I guess I take 2 fatigue. That is really nasty and really sets back how much I can get done today. That sucks. That sucks big time. That is rough. Okay. Okay. No, all right. We might get knocked out really quick here. But we're at White Sky. I mean, it has its own Scouting the Path deck ability here. So we can clear this guy out of the way, then we can hopefully get some stuff done nice and quickly. So there's Vera. We talked to her before. She's 49. I guess we should read it just to make sure there's nothing in there. We get to 49.3. The woman at the helm of the docked Dolewood longboat has the shoulders that one earns after a life of paddling and pooling the valley's waterways. She nods curtly in direction. I'm Vera. I make supply runs all over the lake. She thinks for a moment after you introduce yourselves. You know, if you need a ride somewhere around White Sky, I can take you. Just make sure you're ready to go when you call on me. Clear her with progress to charter her boat to immediately travel to any location on White Sky Lake. Right, that's what we had last time, isn't it? Okay, so we definitely need to be pretty careful this round. We're in a location, or we're in a situation that's pretty rough. We're going to go ahead and use our trail mix to return 3 cards from our fatigue stack into our hand, which is unfortunately a bunch of stuff that we might not need. Yeah, that's not the greatest. But we're gonna wanna dodge this guy, but we're also gonna want to Paths We've Roamed Before. This is gonna be really tricky to get 3 floods dealt with in less than 3 turns and or fatigue, because the best I can do is play a bunch of I guess there's a thing going on right now where I need to do a bunch of stuff really fast, and that might not be super doable, which is what I'm most worried about. So I think first and foremost what I want to do is I want to exhaust myself to dodge the bouncing Aatrox and do a big Strider fitness test up here under the valley. And the reason I want to do that is to play a Walk With Me to clear him, or if I don't get a crest icon, set up an Afforded by Nature for next turn. That's my thought. That also uses up my boundary sensor so that if I need to play this Artel's Fishing Rod, I can. I probably don't need to, but anyways, we're gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against 1. We get the 0, so we get to play 7 up there. But again, we got that crest, and I can't have that. So we're gonna go ahead and play Walk With Me to put 7 on the Aatrox, Pouncing Aatrox as well. When we play Walk With Me, we're gonna Soothe the Fatigue, which is one of our Eagle Eyes, which is what we needed. And he's gonna get cleared. Now, we don't have any nasty crest effects, so that's fine. So I guess the next thing to think about is, am I playing an Eagle Eye this turn, or am I playing a Paths We've Roamed Before to try and get my other Eagle Eye into here? And I feel like the answer is that I'm playing a Paths We've Roamed Before so I can play 2 Eagle Eyes next turn, but I'm not 100% sure. Oh man, that's gonna be tough to pull off, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna play the Paths We've Roamed Before for 2. Oh, it's gonna be so far down in my fatigue stack that I'm not going to be able to find it, right? I need to get it with my trail mix or my Ironwool boots before I do this. So yes, I have to play the Eagle Eye this turn. Scout 3 path cards and draw 1 path card. Pouncing Aatrox, the Bubble, and the Agitated Meadowlarks. I think I'm just skipping all of these. I'm just trying my hardest to not deal with any of this. Yeah, we're just skipping all those because we just want floods. We just need to see the floods. There's a flood, it attaches to Vera. Very nice. And then I soothe the fatigue with my iron wool boots. And that gets me my other eagle eye. So what I can do now is I can use my ooh, ha ha ha. How am I doing that? That's my question, is how am I actually doing this test? And so what I can try is I can try to do a connect. And I think that's basically what I've got, is really just the connect. I think it's going to have to be afforded by nature and compassionate with the spirit to get to 4 against 2. So yeah, fine. Okay, let's see if it's at all possible to bring this one home. So we end the round, we draw a card from the top of the deck, another breathe into it. Nothing happens from the downpour, and we draw a path card. It is the Shaper Scree with it is an obstacle. It takes an insane amount of progress, 6, and two presents. So we're gonna have to do a serious, and this needs to be cleared for us to rest as well because it's an obstacle. That's gonna be tough. Okay, so we need to Eagle Eye for 1. Scout 3 cards. If we don't get both floods off of this, then I think that the day's over. And we need to clear both of them. There's 1 flood. So we'll put that flood on Elder Murtok Growl. Oh, no, those just go to the bottom. Those just go to the bottom. And I guess there's a question of, do I just Eagle Eye again right away to make sure that goes off? Or do I wait for this one to shuffle in and have 2, right? 2 out of this many versus 1 out of this many less the 2 I've already seen. I think 2 out of that many total is better. So I'll use Pakoto, exhaust him to add 2 progress to Elder Murtok Growl, which will clear him, putting 1 up on the Rising Waters. I think that his entry said something about soothing fatigue, I think. So let me see. Cleared him. If you currently have Lure, Quiet, go to 51.4. But he just talks to me. So fine. So we'll clear him. And we'll put the flood back into the deck. It's only got 1 there. Okay, there's that. I guess I'd use the Artel's Vaulting Rod to exhaust this. So when this is exhausted, I don't have to do any of his challenge effects. So that's kind of nice. But then, yeah, the moment we've all been waiting for is my next Eagle Eye, which is looking for a flood in the top 3 cards of the deck. And if it's there, we get to win the day. And if not, maybe we get 1 more turn. It's not there. So we'll put those away. Come on, big money. No. Spiderline Stanchion. During a turn, if your ranger is on this feature, you may treat obstacles as if they did not have the obstacle keyword. And you can do a spirit and reason to brace yourself for the ride to move your ranger token to this feature. When you travel, if all ranger tokens are on this feature, you may travel up to a location up to 2 paths away. Use the terrain of the 2nd path when building the path deck. That's really cool. That's really cool. Holy shit. But unfortunately, it's not what I needed. So the only other thing we can do next turn is spend awareness and compassion to try to scout off of White Sky if I don't have any way to suffer injuries or fatigue or anything happening. Because you fatigue out when you fail to fatigue or when you fail to draw your last card. So I guess that's that. Maybe I could try to clear this now so that I don't have to clear it later. That's a thought. Or at least it's easier to clear next turn. Yeah, this is an easier test than the bubble, right? So maybe I will do that. I'll do, oh no, but if I pull the sun, then I'm fatiguing, so I don't want to do the test unless it's going to complete the mission. So we're not doing that. I don't have any way to scout this, so it's not happening. We'll clear all of our stuff here. Everything ready as I get my energy back. I draw 1 card, which is my last card, which is an Iron Wool Boots. Certainly don't need that. 1 more. The Fresh Sitka Carcass. And you can do an awareness and compassion to watch for opportunistic carnivores to move your ranger to this feature. Fine, okay. And that's that. Okay, so the only thing that we can really do to try to win this day is use Artel's Vaulting Rod, which discards it because there's no more uses on it, to exhaust the Shaper screen. And then dodge the fresh Sitka carcass to try to do this awareness test up here. So we're going to put in 2 into this, and as much heart as I possibly can muster, which is 2 compassionates, and a breathe into it, and an afforded by nature. So long as I don't draw a sun off of this, and I might be getting louder because I'm standing up because it's the very last thing I'm doing, I think. We're scouting off of this. So we are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 against a test of 1. Not be a sun, don't be a sun. Mountain. Holy shit. 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a sure thing, isn't it? Yep. Got a flood. So the flood will have to go on the fresh Sitka carcass, which I did not consider. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. That is such a bummer. I don't have enough awareness left. Oopsies, my bad. Let's return this to hand. It's a leaf in the breeze. Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't get to get that today. Which is a shame because it would have been really nice to. But at least I can end the day without fatiguing, I guess. It's a shame that I couldn't get that all. And it's a situation like this that really makes me wish I had the meditation pillow just so I could like squeeze a little bit more time out of the day. It's also a shame that I couldn't like figure out a way to draw more cards. But whatever. So yeah, I think that I just say that I'm camping now. But I don't want to move, so I think I fatigue out, right? Yeah, I think I don't camp. I don't travel and camp because I want to be in white sky at the start of the day. Yeah, I think that's correct. Man, finding those floods is really hard. In solo play, even playing as many Eagle Eyes as I did, it's really tough to like get the floods out and it not be a problem. But anyways, regardless, I did draw an awful lot of suns today. That did flip once, and I drew a ton of extra weather on that. So that definitely accelerated me through my deck a lot faster than maybe I could have otherwise reasonably managed. And I don't think there was too much else that like really screwed me over by any means. I really wish that I had a way to get my icon onto this aside from the awareness. Because if I'm thinking about it again, like what I could have done was like 1 awareness, 1 and 1, and tried it, and then it would have been like 4 cards. And then like if I got the flood, then I would have been able to do another awareness, 2 and 2, and maybe, yeah, see, look, like there's a 0, right? So maybe I should have thought about the consequence of what this flood would have done, right? Because this attaches to the feature of being with the highest presence that doesn't already have a flood attached. Oh, you're supposed to move that card along the way. Okay, so I misread that. So I guess I kind of misplayed a little bit already today. So maybe if I had realized that, maybe I would have been forced to take a few more fatigue or go a little bit slower clearing the first area out, the Golden Shore. So, all right, that's fine. We'll call that a close shave turned into maybe a stretch goal that wasn't achievable to begin with. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for day 5.